Yep. Hi. There's a lot of cool, crazy stuff going on. Just want to touch base and touch on the things that I don't agree with, because that seems to be the thing that people dislike the most. So, healthy discord is what it's all about. Anyway, so what we did have a split between DSV or ABC Bitcoin Cash and just Bitcoin or Bitcoin SV, the original economics, the original protocol from the get-go. And there's a lot of stupid things going on, stupid thoughts, stupid ideas. The whole, sometimes you just go, gosh, this world is so stupid. But anyways, there's actually people that still believe that splitting is a good thing and not recognizing it for what it is, which is the number one enemy. Splitting and splitting and splitting. This started with the core developers. Can we all now agree that they're not the best developers in the world? The SegWit brainchild of the SegWit 1 megabyte cap. It's the seen and the unseen. And there's a lot of people out there that go, man, but still it hit $20,000. That's great. That is nothing. What you don't see is the $200,000, $300,000. When you only got 21 million, this is where people are promoting the wrong thing. What's the decentralization? Historically speaking, decentralization is a new concept, which is great. But don't go as far as to say like you wouldn't want to have the market share or market cap, of Google or Facebook or Alibaba or Warren Buffett or Berkshire Hathaway. Those are all not centralized. So in this quest to be decentralized, don't lose focus of what you're aiming for, which is stupidity. There's no other way of saying it. Any person that says they're, altruistic or trying to help the community or want crypto to succeed, they either know not what they say or they just are deceiving, because crypto's worst enemy is to divide and conquer yourself. It always has been, anyways, fork. We've seen fork after fork. The good news is it looks like CoinGeek and Craig Wright and these in the community. A lot of people do not like these people, which is the best sign. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, the community. What's reality? Reality. What's real? The community is the competition. In fact, it's gotten to the point. I mean, you gotta laugh, but statist. Like when a company does their homework and another one doesn't, the one that doesn't just makes names. Just if we're gonna do a certain protocol, a certain thing, we best get a patent so someone doesn't patent our stuff and stop us from using our very own things. And it all goes back to where it started, the open source community. Now open source is really cool because what you do is you have a new idea, or you're new to the space, or you're and that's the tryouts. Like in baseball, so you have little tryouts and oh man, good kicker, he'd be a good goalie, and they try out. So what started off in the open source community became its own sticking point. Like stick there. And once again, I mean, history. Sorry about that. History is, changing. Don't get me wrong, but to throw out, you go to GitHub. I mean, open source, and you flaunt your stuff. Eventually you want to go into and make something that is not open for everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? In fact, a lot of times life is a balance. It'd be so much easier if things were black or white. Like BTC, as they screwed shit up and, went so far away from what Bitcoin is. They were left with the price alone. Everything else has been blown away. It's not peer-to-peer cash, which is person-to-person money. It's not any of that stuff. The elite program, the RBF, the high fees, the 1 megabyte, they destroyed it. Simple as that. So when they call themselves Bitcoin, it's only for toddlers. It's only for people that haven't been around, that don't have any money to vote with anyway. Remember, voting in capitalism is the opposite of voting in like the United States or whatever. You vote, everybody gets an equal vote. The reason why capitalism works is it says that's the dumbest thing in the whole world. That no company would ever survive if you took a vote from the masses. But it's all earned. Let's say Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, right? Him and Charlie, over 51% of the votes at Berkshire. So there could be, and this is why it continues to go up in value, because it doesn't give, hey, since you're a human being, you get an equal vote in what happens. Don't laugh. People really think that's a good idea. Hierarchy. Which, and if you didn't have to go against, anyways, it's horrible. So, since he earned that right, when it comes time to go, hey, should we, blow a whole bunch of money on, fireworks? That mentality, the people that have, little amounts of shares get a little vote. The ones that have, like Charlie and Warren, have huge, because they earned it. Because you don't get to that place without making good decisions. And that's why it gets stronger and stronger. So, think about that. Okay. Our normal voting is in numbers, popularity. Capitalism is the opposite of popularity. If you're in the popular group, you're going to lose out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Warren says, without knowing anything, your odds are better to go, against the crowd. Like, let's say you just don't know anything. It's better to go the opposite way. Because, remember, the short term is emotional, and emotional is shifting. And how he proved this is he was basically the first one to leave Wall Street and go to Omaha. So you don't have to be in there and get insider tips or any of that stuff. Plus, there's no buying or selling. He didn't do that. And wasn't a diversification. If you look at old Buffett, he was a lot looser with reporters. Why don't you believe in diversification? This is the early years when they used to beat the shit out of him. People forget the early days. And he'd say, I read the Forbes 100 every year. I don't see anyone on that list for the last 25 years that's diversified. Not Apple, not Walmart, not Alibaba. You know what I'm saying? It goes right down the list. And then, you have to get in the minds, and people have to think that it's more valuable. So he did. He never split his shares. Because he could easily be the richest person in the world times 20 if he could split his shares. Now he's the only company, right? Traditionally, when your stock got up to, let's say, $100, it seems like that's what it was. They would do a stock split, and you would have two $50. So in the mind, this is the soft science that engineers, accounting, any of those people can't stand it. They can't stand it. I mean, this is what's got Steve Jobs fired. Remember, he's spending a lion's share of the money on things that they like. Why does it matter that you spend all the money on the design of this, the way it looks, and like this? You know, fired him. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't understand soft science. Because at the end of the year, if Coca-Cola spends, money on the Super Bowl, whatever the most expensive advertising is, engineers and accountants, they go, we don't know how many customers we made from that. See, that's their weak spot. That's where you get them every time. Because they won't go in those waters where they do the soft science. I have to be able to quantify it. Anyways, I'm rambling on. So, what's my point? I don't think I have a point. And then, so you have a lot of stupidity. 1,000 ICOs, 1,000 copies, coins. And you know what? At the end, Bitcoin SV, the original roadmap. How 1,000 coins? How many developers is that? They couldn't add anything to get. The reason I say that is the original one got a 64 meg block. That's bigger than all of them. This is kind of technical. There's always a lag with stupidity. Like in the normal market, you have, let's say 60% long term solid, and then you have 30 or whatever, 5 small medium timeline, and then you got that little day trader casino. It's so bad. There is no success stories. I mean, over a lifetime career. That's how bad it is. That's why it's ding ding ding. You can never, you could play, but you're the player. You're not the house, like a regular little casino. You know what I'm saying? And all the middlemen are just, taking their cuts. Not to mention tax liabilities for everything you buy and sell. Anyways, so, 21 million. Even though it doesn't, every time it forks, it doesn't change the math at all, because 1 out of 21 is the same as 2 out of 42, right? It changes the math, nothing. But what you're not seeing is the bigger players do want a bigger chunk of that 21 million. So what's been going on is, for that to happen, let's say BTC, right? Segue it out. Wouldn't mind having 10 times as much, in the fork, 10 to 1, boom boom. So what looks like, a losing hand, it's really value wise the same, right? 10 times as much, but this is the one that's going to last, because there's only two camps: the short term popularity, just like the .com, just like every mania. And the one thing no show, no newscast, no person will talk about is what's the better product. And like Warren says, as the shore goes out, as the condensing happens, or consolidation, sorry, boom, for the first time, everybody will start flipping and going, okay, what's the actual better product? And just watch it every single time. Mania, Mars coin, you know what I'm saying? We want to go to Mars, give us some money, and people just give them money. So we had to take the consolidation had to start. You know what I'm saying? People are getting ripped off. I mean, you tell them a million times, they don't care. I would even go on Discord just to get a temperature and strangers on the street and stuff. Like one guy at Starbucks, my wife are there. I'm not greedy. If I can make 35% a month, I'm happy. I was in the passenger seat. Honey, take it off. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to this guy. This guy's crazy. So the other thing is open source is the tryout, and then you go into proprietary. You become Google. You get your group together, not of clones of someone that's good at coding, someone that's good at logistics, someone's good at the fields, right? And once you do that, there has to be a bond of trust. And I suggest, you don't get paid until revenue comes in. First thing Warren does to make sure everybody buys a company, because what's ironic is he's actually diversified now. And people go, "Oh, Warren's diversified." Well, when you buy Zscaler for $10 billion and you still have $100 billion, you have to, so much. But side note, sorry. And then things start working out. That's the survival mode, right? After that, gotta keep that trust going, because this happens every time in business. After the survival, everybody's pulling together, and then all of a sudden, everybody wants to get their own. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's getting cheated. The guy mowing the lawn is, "Hey man, you wouldn't make any money if I wasn't mowing the lawn." The salesman's like, "You wouldn't have any customers if I didn't go sell the customers." The finance guy, "You wouldn't have it if you had any money to start." The office, you wouldn't be able to. Everybody is oversensitive, and that's very hard. So, anyways, what he does is he instantly puts the CEO or whatnot, and puts it at long-term options. So, let's say buy Zscaler, and the CEO, hey, you get your salary, your minimum wage, but it's going to be on a 5-year outstanding options. That's basically it. Because incentives are so powerful, it doesn't matter who they are. The lowest worker, the CEO. The CEO goes, "Okay, let's see. I'm going to want this to be most valuable in 5 years." The brain actually shifts to maximize the long term. That's how powerful, that's how simple it is. Anyway, so that's something you want to incorporate. What else is going on? Okay, question about the 3 months. It's expiring what do you call it? The hedge. All right. The problem with BTC is they're on 100% store value. Not good, man. Not good. DSV, Bitcoin SV. I mean, it's not going to matter, and I say it every 3 months or whatever. But they're too far the other way. No HODL. HODL's bad. I think they think that'll generate more actual work in the space and development and stuff. It's just simply not true. But it's one of those things where you agree to disagree. Money simply does not work like that. Because if you take it to its logical conclusion, you get a payment in, let's say a chunk, right? What they're saying is you have to go spend that like a hot potato. And obviously, that's the same. We normally think that is dumping shares. You're a hot potato. And saying there's like no value in holding it. Huge mistake. We live in a world where CEOs of companies over-tout their company project or whatnot. They oversell it, which is not good, or that's the norm. That's the line. And when you have leaders saying, "Don't hold it, no holding," and they think by switching the words around, hoidle, but any bright person goes right to a dictionary. They figure it out. It doesn't matter what you say. They're going to get to the bottom of it and learn for themselves. And double talk, that works for people on minimum wage, not for people that have millions of dollars. It never has, never will. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing with popularity. Like, all these people want this. the whole industry wouldn't equal one more button. You know what I'm saying? It's not popularity. It's the non-talkers. You know what I'm saying? The ones that they wouldn't have $1 if they listened to the podcast. It's self-fulfilling. So DS, they're doing awesome. No change to the protocol. Going to keep it that way. Had a hash war, just to demonstrate to the world. Build your your apps here. We're not going to change. We're just going to. We have 11-year pedigree track record of kicking ass. We're going to keep going that way. They don't understand that it's going to be. It's like, I'm not totally against it because they're not playing the value card. Short-term people, let's say the most valuable card in the game is the Joker card. The short-term people play that right away. And then the more long-term people, they hold on that thing forever. You know what I'm saying? Play it when I need it. Nice to know it's there. So that's good, but I have a real tough time. One thing is they are not on the street talking to normal people, like for adoption. I'm really good at that, but I am not really good at that when there's no value proposition, because nothing is a motivator like that. I mean, when I talk to people, they start off saying, I don't even care about that bullshit. I don't care. I'm never going to do that, And as the value, I think it's going to go up to $1 million, whatever. Huh? Maybe I'll buy it. Maybe I'll give $1,000. Just like in the conversation. What are you doing? You should buy DSV or BSV because it helps the community and the world be a better place. And we sound just like the Salvation Army that was here 2 days ago. Not realistic. And when you're not realistic, you're self-deceiving yourself. Take a day. Go talk to real people. Go to Walmart. It's my favorite place to talk to people. Or, we're all in a bubble. It doesn't matter. It's going to keep chugging along because the protocol is so well designed from the get-go. If you don't mess with it, right, that it's going to do its thing. It's just going to take a lot longer without the value proposition. Because here's what people are thinking. The value comes from the utility, not from greed. And we don't want it to be like a Ponzi scheme. They just don't understand real life. The USD is a Ponzi scheme. Semantics, every single thing is a Ponzi scheme. But, okay, there is a difference. More Ponzi scheme's an exiting thing. It has utility. It is cash. It has a lot of attributes, but to be so haughty and think that these effects, these greedy effects, and they're not even greedy, another reason why Buffett has his let's say his share price go up, it's over 200-300, hundreds of thousands of dollars, is that Charlie said, man, there's no speculators. Speculators don't speculate with a 300,000 per share value. It just doesn't happen. And they have very little control over who they do business with. Remember, just like every successful business, it's trust. You know what I'm saying? It's your word, and it sounds like bullshit, right? That's okay. But just ignore it. Because they don't mind making money for the people that were there for them in the early years. They're not there trying to rip them off. The people that invested in them in the early days, this is their words, but not Wall Street. In fact, Wall Street was making a fund where they would buy a Berkshire, a BRK, for let's say $200,000, right? And then you could buy into that as a fund. So you could buy $10, $5. But Warren's all about trust. That's when he came out with Baby B's. It said, it won't cost you anything, 30 to 1, unlimited, no scarcity, no, instantly they're out of business because now he had to, You know, when this cards used to say, "May you live until Berkshire splits," you know, forever. I like to ramble. So, anyways, no hedge. That's going to expire because I think right now, remember, a hedge just keeps you neutral, and they're getting a little more expensive. My opinion is just let it lapse at this point, flow, unless you want to just keep it frozen for a little while. I think we're at a good spot right now. So I think expires 2 weeks. So at that point, your stuff will be free floating again. But I think it's a good place to do that. Just my opinion. Remember, this is all lies, satire. I like to think of this as an acting class. I'm just acting, you know, acting. I'll pretend like I'm Jerry, you know, so that way you don't get idiots in here. What else? Cool stuff. I didn't even get over cool stuff because going from open source to underground, it sucks ass, you know, and there's this time delay and whatnot in a way, but things come out and stuff, and things are being released, like and it's cool because they go from open and then you have that long time delay, you know. And congratulations to SVE or Bitcoin, the original roadmap, Craig Wright. You know, he's kind of like leading the way, and he's definitely the smartest person in all crypto and Bitcoin, for sure. He was going for to beat Thomas Edison's patents, and he did. You know, it's like it's over 1,000. You know, so that's the other thing. You know, it's good on the original roadmap to get all your stuff down, because all these outlaws or whatnot, it sounds good, you know, but why not just do your homework? You know, the guy who rushes out and yells at a megaphone changes nothing, you know. The Blacknet, they don't like calling it Blacknet because it scares you. Is that scary, Blacknet? They changed it to MetaNet. Can't. That's the worst name in the world. Oh my gosh, I'd rather be RightNet, you know, because like Craig was working on it for like 20 years, so you know he can't say that, but I sure as hell can. Anyways, it's awesome. If you look at the design, it's basically air gap security, privacy, you know. It really help out grandma, you know, help out Visa and MasterCard, because they could come on and then they could have privacy and get rid of $75 billion a year in credit card fraud. And that's not the identification theft, which is the real scary part. And let's face it, the privacy we're talking about, it's not really for me and you. It's for grandma, for your parents, you know, that are like, help me start this computer. You know, they're easy prey, you know, and that's, you know, so Visa and MasterCard, they need a lot of help. And MetaNet, I can't do that. MetaNet is allowing everything to be private. Like you can already see in the beta phase, if you want to play around with it, with Handcash. Handcash is freaking bitchin' wallet, and it's like your keys to the world. Because right now people all have to use like passwords and stuff. You can't get it yet unless you have an Android phone. It's a beta, but by the end of the week, you know, we're waiting forever for it to come out on iPhone. So anyways, the stuff that's being released, it's really cool, because let's say you want to send me $1, you send it to Jerry French. No more QRs, no more of these developers. Remember, developers are the worst. You know, the worst. They don't understand simplicity. They would rather it be secure. You know, even though Visa and MasterCard has proven there's hundreds of billions of dollars to be made on what's obviously not a secure system. And they're looking for 100%. I mean, as far as your plans on what to make, if they're development, just put earplugs in. You don't even want it to be contagious at all. You know what I'm saying? Peter Ruiz, Unlimited, and ABC. Oh, it's 100 times better than Visa. Not good enough. We're going to hold up the whole market. You know, Core into a Segway. It's a 1 megabyte. They're waiting for Lightning. Meanwhile, SB, Bitcoin, the original, 64 meg block, world record, champion of the world. End of story. You know, obviously tech people and investors have a gap, but it's getting more obvious all the time. So 64 meg block and tokenized contracts made easy. No scotch tape, no secondary party, no, you know, trusted third parties. Man, that's pretty scary shit. You know what I'm saying? Where in Bitcoin, 10-year track record, no one can touch your shit. Private. You know what I'm saying? Well, there's a 0.01, you know. The most secure thing on the planet, private. You know. Anyways, so I want to beat my record. I'm just dabbling, Dr. What else is cool? Anyway, so your hand cash thing. Oh, you're at this cool wallet, the easiest thing in the world, blah, 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 you know. That's pretty cool.